Acoustic radio, spiritual radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.
Just got back yesterday at 5 o'clock. Hey, Joseph, how are you?
Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you? I'm good.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing great. A little tired. It'd been 2 days since I'd had sleep, but I got a good 8 hours in last night. So
Good.
It was crazy. Yeah.
So you had a good time, right?
I had a good time other than watching 500 people struggle to try to grab blankets for $60 a piece, and every room that was close by was filled from all the downed passengers that had missed their locations and were trying to get rebooked all at one time and ended up sleeping in the hotel, missing their the places to connect, and as well as I, and it was just crazy. That was a one time. If you ever go anywhere, please do not take it for granted that your plane is going to. I had my trip all planned, and it was going to be short, and it was going to be problem free, and I ended up wishing I'd had a change of clothing and a toothbrush. That's for sure.
Oh.
There was a lot of people.
We have a beautiful day here.
Oh.
I had dental x-rays done this morning, so I had to get up early and went to bed late. So we're kind of on the same low ebb in terms of sleep. There's
nothing worse than a toothache.
I had a tooth pulled last week. I had a wisdom tooth pulled, and so then I decided, okay, well, let's just update the X-rays and stuff because I hadn't done that in a while. And they say you should do that every so often so you can see what
your
so
jaws
that's what
changed.
I did.
Jaws
that was my day.
Well, I haven't had any. I had all mine. Wisdom teeth taken out. However, my wisdom only grew once I did.
Oh. Well, mine came in straight with no trouble, so I kept them, and they said they were fine, and they didn't pull them out, But I lost one a long time ago because it had a cavity, so they had to pull it. And the other one had to go today. Well, the thing is, our mouths are not large enough for them sometimes, and sometimes they come in impacted. Luckily, that never happened to me.
That's all happened to me when I was 18 and 19, so thank God I have it all over with. So I thought today, for the fun of it, we could discuss a few things, as well as give readings for those who want to call into the show. We are doing audio today, which is not usual, but for today it was more convenient. And
so what are people seeing?
They are seeing a picture of a coffee cup with cards and flowers.
Oh, how lovely. So
I thought today we could discuss, as well as take readings for those who want to call into the show. That sounded Swedish. And for those who want to call into the show. Must have been a past life hunch there.
Oh my gosh, you're bilingual.
Yeah.
Or
Six
by
oh
accent or whatever.
bypass life-ish. Um,
By accent.
six 602-666-6027 is the number to call in, and along with the readings, we can also tell you what zodiac flower you are. I will tell you right now what it is so that you kind of have a grip on what the show is about.
Well, how
So
cool is that? That's neat.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So
Yeah.
we'll start out with what is your month of birth, Joseph?
June.
Okay. Um, oh, they don't have June here. Darn it. They have. Yes, they do. You're a white rose.
Oh, I like lilacs. They're my favorite.
Well, you don't get to have that. You're
Oh, when
yours.
that's okay because I have lots of bushes. We have lots and lots of bushes. We keep planting them all the time. So
Well,
that's
yeah, you're Cancer.
totally.
Are
So
you
what's
or
that
are
here?
what is your sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Mm, June. Okay. Yep. So which day of the
The
um
20th.
20th. Okay. Um oh, all right. So if you were born on June 20th, no, sorry. You're still a white rose. I'm sorry, but white roses are beautiful because they also are the sign of peace. So, you
Oh,
know, if you, they always say, if you
no, they
want to
are pretty. Yeah,
if you want to send roses to a friend, make sure that
white.
they're white because white
Mm-hmm.
roses represent, they're not only classy, but they're also a symbol of friendship. So, for those of you who want to know that, Scorpio, mine is a geranium. And I don't mind
Oh,
geraniums, they come in all kinds of beautiful flowers. But that is my
colors.
flower.
Mhm.
And
Are those really the ones that are very strong in scent, right? Really powerful aroma?
they're almost
Geranium.
herbalish in their
Mm-hmm.
smell, but they come in pinks, scarlets, reds, whites. They have
Oh, yes. Oh, I can't stand them in the house, but they're nice outside.
yeah, not in the well, I
Yeah.
keep one in my kitchen, but they get very powerful in their fragrance.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Um,
But they're very pretty, though. They're very
oh, they come
vibrant.
very lush. They're very
Yes.
lush, and
And the reds are very vibrant. They
yeah,
almost seem to vibrate. You look at them against like the lawn if you have them outside in the summer. You just put the pots out, don't plant them. You just put the pots out and stuff. They do very well in the summer. They
well,
get lots
they
of
need.
sun and they get very large.
I think they're popular also
Hmm.
because they I think they like a lot of, they can do well in full sun, but they like about 4 to 6 hours of great sun in the morning. And I
Hmm.
think they can do okay in afternoon shade. But I'm pretty sure that I don't know, there are people that have them in
Well,
bright sun
you
as
have to
well.
gauge it by other things in the yard that would cast shadows and shade. Like as the sun moves around, then you get your shade. So it doesn't fly.
Right.
Um, in our yard, and even when in the yard with my parents' yard, things were like that. We had a large building next door to us, so we had partial shade, even though normally things would have cooked on that side because it was like a
Ah,
well, it was partial southern exposure and east, and we had south. Yeah, but the positioning of bushes and stuff, and also the way the shadows fall constantly, you can figure out where to plant what over time. You know.
yeah. You'll
Yeah.
be glad to know that our thumbnail for our show today has lilacs and bluebells on it, with
Oh, I love that.
with white forget-me-nots, I believe. But
Well,
anyway,
this is their season. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
those of you that may be listening now or later, here is the way it goes. Between June 22nd and July 22nd, your flower is the white rose. For Leos, before July 23rd, or at July 23rd to August 22nd, your flower is a sunflower. For Virgo, August 23rd to September 23rd, your flower is the buttercup. For Scorpios, October 24th to November 22nd, your flower is a geranium. For Capricorns, December 22nd to January 20th, your flower is the pansy. And for Aquarius, January 21st to February 19th, your flower is the orchid. So it goes on like that. So today we will, if those who want to call into the show and get readings or in quick into the show, we will tell you what your flower is. Other than that, I would say that on my journey, I have to laugh. On today, on the side panel, it says, "Become a barefoot writer and live the life of a famous writer without having to write a blockbuster movie script or
Yeah.
a chart-topping book." Now that's going to be really interesting how to do that.
Well, a person could have, a lot of books are very successful and very well known without like being like bestsellers, over time.
That is true.
And actually, if it's very good, if a lot of people like it, you do have a large audience, but you're not like, Stephen King, or something, or, the biggies. That's good. That's very good. In fact, that's something that a lot of people would be very happy with.
Yeah.
If they support themselves with their talent, not in a huge way, but at least in a normal sort of way, where they're okay. That's what a lot of people want. If they still function and buy things and buy pretty or whatever you need.
Interestingly,
Retire,
Interestingly, a lot of book publishers that were self-publishing book publishers that used to make an Amazon page for the writer and sell their books.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times that self-publisher has a tendency to go on to the next self-publisher and the next self-publisher, and once the Amazon page is created, very seldom even pays attention to who their writers are.
Mm-hmm.
But I know from Adrienne Austin, she created her own Amazon page for her book, and in fact, my mother's publisher, who has also sent her directions on how to start her own Amazon page, so that isn't even a service that necessarily any of the publishers want to handle anymore. And
I know.
the main thing is then that you have to buy a box of books at hand so that you are always able to send a book and keep on top of whoever does want to buy a book through Amazon. But so many people are uploading anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and also audiobooks are incredibly popular.
Yes, they are, because people like to drive and listen to audiobooks. And for the commuter, or if you can't read, you still get the book, and it's very nice for some people. It's also like if you have any eye problems and you love to read, but you just simply can't anymore for some reason, or shouldn't,
Or
yeah.
go to sleep at night listening to a story or something. I really think that
Absolutely.
anymore. I don't know how you go about making a book file of your book that you have self-published or written, but I would think it would be fairly easy, wouldn't it?
Well, I did self-publish, but I didn't do all of the um, I wrote the book, but the actual publishing and the producing of the book for the galley, what they call that, it's the proof. That was done, and distribution, that was done by a company. I hired a place that does that. And they handled a lot of the business end of it for me, so that and everything is in place and all that. And I own the book and all that. And
do you have an
available
Amazon
on
page?
Amazon.
Okay.
Huh? But
you do
however,
have an Amazon.
I don't believe it has been digitized. They said they were going to, but I think I'm just going to have to do that myself. And that process, I don't know about. I do not know yet about publishing myself, like say through Amazon, and just doing it, or for Kindle, directly that way. I don't know how to prep it or how to do that yet, but I will find out, and that will probably be how I will be releasing anything probably in the future, because it is low cost to the creator.
If it's getting to where self-publishers do not want to create the Amazon page, of what good are they? I mean, they're basically just simple.
You have to do it by yourself.
You go through a cheap publisher, go through a cheap company that will do a great job, and you can have your cover designed by there's so many cover designers at Facebook that you can hire that would do an excellent. It's more than just doing. I could do it myself, and I have a design, but I want to have it.
I will do my own.
Yeah.
The next time I do it, I will do my own illustration for the cover. And though I'm very happy with what they did, because I told them what I wanted, and they got really close to it. Mm-hmm. But what's funny? When you do see it, even though it's perfect, since somebody else did it for you, and you imagined it and told them what to do, when you see it, you go, "Oh,
wow!"
No, it's like, "Oh, wow! Oh, I hate it." And,
it's never been so long. And there's a lot of website designers like that as well. People get very picky. They see it in their head about what they want for themselves. And then when somebody designs their web page, they always hate it. And that they go from one designer to another designer to another designer, never happy because what they see in their head never matches what the designer can make them.
I have on a lot of art, and so I should have done it myself. But at the time, I really didn't want to anyway. I focused the book. It was actually more fun to just kind of like dictate it than to actually do them, And because I was busy with writing, I had to write a certain amount of blurbs, for certain ads, for certain places that would appear on the internet, and it has to be done. Like short and long, and depending on who's going to use it for what space. And so I hate doing that. And I don't like to summarize my work because I'm always afraid of giving things away. It's like, how do I give you a synopsis without saying too much or without revealing any surprises,
Right.
So I kind of hated that. I thought, well, if somebody else did it, they might really screw it up. And so I guess I was trying to repress my control freak nature when it comes to my own project, because if it is my project, it's mine, So I get really picky about that. Although I will do what people tell me if I agree to work with them on something, but if they're in charge. But if it's mine, I could really, really, very, So I inadvertently pre-designed the cover in my head without really realizing I'd done that. But of course, I had to do that in order to tell them what I wanted. It's just that they look at their stock images and they paste everything together. So that's the kind of the look I didn't care for.
Yeah.
I wanted an actual I wanted it. It was an original creation, but it was a creation made with things that could possibly be seen again, used again and again, maybe elsewhere. And I don't know that, and it's not very original looking then. And so that's why I think next time, either I will hire someone I know, if I could do that, or I could do it myself. And that's my choice. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a caller.
Yeah.
Let's go to this caller.
Cool.
And hello. Hi, what's your name?
Kathleen.
I'm sorry? What is it again?
Catherine?
It's Kathleen.
Kathleen, how are you, Kathleen?
Hi,
I'm doing
Kathleen.
good.
What's your sign? What is the day of your month and day of birth?
It's December 7th, Sagittarius.
Okay, so Sagittarius, and let me see here. September? Yours is the December.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Golly darn. Okay, so your flower is the pansy.
Okay.
So, and that's just in case you want to grow window boxes of pansies, that is your identity flower. All right, so what is your question today?
I've been into the spiritual stuff for many years. I've seen stuff, heard stuff. You know, I knew somebody was going to die, and I knew it was going to be a man. I just want to know what it is. If there's like a label or something for it, like a medium or something.
I'm not understanding the question.
Like I can see stuff, hear things.
You can see it. You see and hear things. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can feel it. Like I knew a father figure was passing away, and then the next day, my girlfriend from when she was little in another state told me that day her dad had died.
Oh wow!
So
you
have.
Yeah. Well, I guess I wouldn't know. Mediums transfer the message, wouldn't they? Is there a word for that, Joseph?
I've always believed that medium was an overall term for anyone that did anything like us, or someone who did, like, say seances, spiritual mediums, people that maybe that's my take on it. But let me just check really quick as to
I'm
the.
looking. Yeah, because when I look at what is a medium, a psychic is a person who claims to use extrasensory perception to identify information hidden from the normal senses. And so the word psychic is also used as an adjective to describe abilities. A medium, I think, is more about people. It says a psychic is a person who has psychic abilities and a sixth sense, while a medium, commonly referred to as a psychic medium, is a person who claims to be able to communicate with spiritual beings, including souls of deceased ones from this world.
Okay.
So what
yes,
you are...
someone who communicates with the spirits, yes.
Yeah.
That's the literal... like, say, the Webster meeting, the Merriam-Webster, someone that does that.
But
specifically, most commonly, yeah.
And so a lot of psychics claim to be mediums. But basically,
sometimes things happen as a one-time thing, because sometimes things happen as a one-time thing. These odd things that happen, they happen because somebody wants you to notice it. And perhaps just simply be aware of it. And sometimes they never happen again,
It's happened a lot.
It's happened a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say maybe you're psychic.
Well, because it says even though mediums seem to be much more powerful than psychics, they are only capable of seeing and hearing ghosts and spirits. Most mediums I know will officially say that they cannot get on a phone and do a psychic reading. Like if someone says, do a reading on how does Jim feel about me, or what are his intentions, or what is, they're more about, psychics are more about the living. And empathic people tend to be people that feel the energy of the people around them, including, I would say, spiritual entities. But a medium, their specific power is basically only with spirits, ghosts, and the people that have passed on.
Okay.
So what you are saying is that you feel your power is in what again?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure it out, because, like, I feel things, and I know it's going to happen, and it does.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yes.
then I can see and hear things that aren't there.
That's clairaudient. Mm-hmm. That's clairaudient.
And I see stuff that's not there. I see shadow people in our house. My husband's seen it. My kids have seen it. And we've lived here 13 years.
Well, if everybody sees it, then that's just a haunted house.
Well, that's what I got
shadow
too,
people.
But it's just not here when that it happens with me. Wherever I go, I can see stuff.
Right. Well, I would say clairaudient. If you're saying that you have all of those above, then you would be clairaudient, which is people who hear audio voices and things like that. The visual, many mediums say, and even when you watch Ghostbusters, the chances of someone actually seeing a full-bodied apparition are almost not at all. Yeah. But a lot of people may see what they feel. You know what I'm saying? They give outline and they give shape to what they feel. And so even the Long Island
it's wired
medium,
into their eyesight.
Right. So Long Island medium will say, I don't actually hear people talking to me, and I don't actually see them, but I feel their presence.
I think that's kind of like when I felt like a father figure had passed away. I felt it was a father, and I don't know if it's something that I actually felt.
Well,
or
actually,
I could see my own father.
You will probably meet. I am seeing a King of Cups in your near future, and that is somebody. Now, it could be a person. I do see a man here. The King of Cups is usually a warm and loving, very emotionally balanced, mature man. If not mature physically, he is represented by a mature man, but he just simply might be a very mature man, period. Having a wisdom. I see that person coming to you, and with spirituality being the topic, it does show that you are going to learn more about this. It does show that you're going to do that. The King of Cups is a very nice person who actually knows what they're talking about. But in terms of spirituality, it's recommended that you take one step at a time, and there's just no need to hurry and no need to worry. It's that meditation helps, and I do see that with the King of Cups, it's it's advising you to be loving and yet still draw boundaries, because since you are an empath, you do have to work on ways to protect yourself. Otherwise, you're always going to feel all these things. And sometimes that's great because, you know, you want to be compassionately active because you do have this ability. It's a part of you. And it's what makes you who you are. But you can't let it be too sensitive. But I think you are working on that because I see you on the road to that. However, I do see in your past, you have always been very thoughtful about this, and you're always this sort of a person who has looked for information, and you obviously have, and this reflects that in the Six of Wands. And it's upside down, but that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Okay, it's like all the females in my family have had this happen to them.
So
yeah,
when
this is something that you're the right track for a long time. That's fun too. It shows the world needs your gifts, so certainly do use them. But I want to caution you. You might have just met somebody or some at the present time who is sort of immature and also someone who's not really honest. I see it as a male, a youthful male. Sort of, he's not exactly as he appears. Okay, it might come off as a guru.
You've nailed that right on the head, right there.
Pardon?
You've nailed that one right there on the head.
Okay, that makes me feel good. But they're saying, no, get away from him. Let him just pass through your life.
I keep my distance from this person.
Yeah, there's someone better. There's a better thing ahead. Whether it's a state of spirituality or this fine person I just told you about, that's going to actually know what he's talking about. It's like say no to the first one and then consider the next one. Okay.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
What is? Do you have a name for the person that you are having energy with at this particular time, or initials that I could read on?
That is what he just described that I'm staying away from? Yeah.
Are you having issues with someone that I could read on more clear for you?
Yeah, his first name's Perry.
Do you want me to look at Perry's energy and where his intention is?
Yes, please.
Okay. So if I look at him, Mr. P, what comes through with Perry says that at this time, he is a free spirit who has often been a victim because he could not find traditional relationships easy. He is somebody that may either be going through a divorce legal situation or something in which he is finally having to either pay for or have someone come down on him for his inability to be able to be responsible for traditional commitments. There is a sense that he seems to have no strength, no ability to change that at this particular time. So if I look at what are his intentions for you, it says that Perry's intentions for you, and it says he must win at all times. He must feel that he has the ability to run if he wants to run before things get too serious. He's not promising to improve himself He's not promising to be a better person for you, and he's certainly not promising to go into a deep relationship. He loves to communicate, but oftentimes there is a sense that he gravitates towards partners that are overcoming grief or a past relationship breakup, and he likes to be able to almost nurture or speak in a warm and compassionate way that wins hearts, but the problem is he does not have staying power.
Yep.
So that's what comes through on him.
Sad.
Well,
That's him exactly.
So maybe that's why Joseph says, do not go with the first one.
Yeah, he just
Oh
good
yeah,
talker.
I know. Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's just nervousness, but still, how it is.
That would kind of confirm what was going on there. And as far as your abilities of you and your sisters, here is what comes up. Clairvoyance is called clear seeing. It means the ability to see things like animals, people, or objects that are not really there, but it's kind of like in your mind's eye. So some clairvoyants see the spirit of something as if it's a physical being, while others say that they actually see the spirit as if it were a movie or a photograph in their mind's eye, which would be what Long Island medium is. Clairaudience is called clear hearing, which is the power of being able to hear the thoughts or voices of spirits, and this can either take the form of a medium hearing the spirit as though it were a person speaking beside them, is not really, but that's speaking in their mind's eye, while others state the voice they hear in their mind is more like a verbal thought. Now, I don't know how to say, I've heard it a million times. Clairestinence. How do you say that, Joseph? Claire, Sentienc. Clairestinence? Clairestinence?
Yes,
I've never even heard that one before.
I haven't. Yeah, I've never heard it.
That's called clear sensing, and the ability to feel the impression a spirit wishes to communicate with you. You may also have the ability to feel sensations that a spirit may instill in you as they are trying to communicate with you. Psychics with this ability could meet a total stranger, yet already know personal information about them. This power works in accord with aura reading, so that information can be taken from objects or physical locations or jewelry or anything they hold in their hand, that they can feel a clear instance or clear, it's called clear seeing, sensing, where they sense the energy from. Yeah.
My impression of this of how this happens is that, well, since what we hear and see and sense is traveled electrically through to our brains, right?
Right.
And that's what tells us what's going on. Well, anything that would be hitting you that way would be registering in that way, like you thought you heard it, and that's what your brain is telling you. You heard it, but actually it's not coming to your ears. It's electric, coming from someplace else.
It's electrical. It's electrical energy.
It's electrical, yeah.
Okay.
Because that would feel like you saw it and hear it, because actually that's what your brain did see, hear, and sense. That's what it was told by the electrical impulse it got. So that makes a lot of sense. That almost seems to bring it into to the scientific
and why people can feel that electricity or that electrical energy through jewelry that someone's worn, or through an article of clothing, or through anything that or even from strangers, especially that they see and they sense something. Now, there's clear
I can call
aliens.
people up and talk to people and just tell them something like, well, how'd you know? I'm like, well, I don't know. I just call and tell people something.
You just say, you must have said something
people, and they're just like spooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another one called clairalience or clairalience, it sounds like, but Clairalienc. I wish they'd have the pronunciation, meaning clear smelling. And this is the power or the ability to gain psychic information through a smell. For example, you may smell tobacco when you're in a room that was like the tobacco that your father or mother smoked. Or you may smell someone's perfume, that they wore. And there's other people that have clear tasting, which means they get a specific taste when they feel those electrical impulses and get messages from that. And then there is 5, which is clair. This is called clairgustance, or clairgustance, which almost sounds like gluten-free, but it's clairgustance. Similar to clairgustance is clear tasting, which enables a person to taste something that is connected to the spirit they have channeled. So I used to go for readings, or I went with a friend to a reader once, that she would feel you would give her a piece of jewelry or something that somebody owned, and then her face would start to contort and her nostrils would start to flare, and it was the oddest thing you've ever seen. And then she would start to spit forth all this information. So I think she must have been one of those people that definitely found it through her smelling. And claircognizance, which is the best defined as clear knowing, or the recollection, or the recognition of something despite there being no way of knowing it to be true, which is what you also say that you are doing. Believe that this knowledge is imparted to the psychic by a spirit, and it can be regarded as a hunch or a gut feeling that is never wrong. And some mediums describe this power as being similar to having a bad feeling that appears out of nowhere as a warning.
Like, I will bawl if it's something sad, or I'll be sick if it's something painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like uncontrollable cry or something,
That almost sounds like the last one then, is that you're getting electrical impulse from the energy or spirit of whoever you're channeling. I know just before 911, there were an awful lot of people that were saying that they were getting strange electrical impulses that they were sensing, so yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
And it was a joy to...
That was interesting, Kath. Thank you, Kathleen. Wow, that was cool.
Thank you, guys.
All right, hon. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
That was interesting.
Yeah. I love it when callers can help bring forth subject matter that we maybe didn't even plan.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's more discussion-y.
Yeah, discussion-y, but it's about spirituality. It's discussion-y about spiritual subject matter that, the main thing is that I think it's important to realize that if you are somebody that has a lot of ability, like you said, do understand this. If you are one of those people that is noticing more and more that you have the ability to sense things that are happening or know things without really understanding why, then you do need to know that 2 things can happen. When you get into it to a high degree, you will also notice that things happen like dreams, or that you will notice that things start to be good and bad. I feel like there's no good without bad. And the good of being able to connect spiritually or psychically is to know that when you increase one, the other's going to be there too. So you have to be able to know how to handle that when that happens.
Yeah.
So blocking is extremely important. So
Yeah,
Joseph,
there are
do you?
some doors I've never bothered to even. I have never tried to
Oh,
open any doors,
that's right.
really.
There's some
I just deal with
Yep,
what I have. Yeah, I just deal with what I got. That's it. Um,
yeah,
I,
because if you're going to open
sometimes,
Pandora's,
I know what she means about how she knew something without being told, and they said, "How did you know that?" It's
mm,
only happened to me a few times, and the only thing I could think of to say back was, "Well, yeah, I know you told me at some point because I wouldn't know otherwise." And that's it. And I just left it at that. Like, well, it ain't weird to
I,
me. You
I,
told me, obviously.
I've
But
had,
I could have sworn that they did. But it's happened where actually it was information where it's like, how the hell did you know that? And
I
it's
don't
just
know
like,
if you know, I
oh, I
think
know you told
sometimes when you get close to somebody, whether they're a
me.
partner or a friend or a lover,
Yeah.
you eventually start to read their mind. And I have answered questions that I thought mine was asking me, and he'll look at me and go, "How did you know I was going to ask you that?" It's like you
Oh,
begin you begin to start to sense the telepathic connection between you both starts to be very strong. And I think it's like
oh
dogs.
yeah.
It's that,
Hmm.
animals naturally um, are able to pick up on each other. And I think that also that can happen between people.
Well, people, yeah, you really do feel them. Once
Mhm.
they're close to you and you know them, you really do. And I could see that because I'm not like there's those electrical impulses, they. So,
Mhm.
um, and we also do have our auras, and we're if we're close, we're going to feel a lot of things, and our auras are larger than us. They do radiate out. So, yeah, I think we just kind of like learn about each other through osmosis that way sometimes, without really being told, or even being without having any indication by visual or audio means, just by feel and sense.
Yeah,
So,
and then there's, but blocking there's two ways of blocking. Now, there's also when we look at what is a
mhm.
spiritual block is an issue or emotion or situation that's keeping you from achieving your full potential,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And so it's like
yeah,
self-sabotage. If you want to write a book and you've
hmm,
got it in your head and you
yeah,
look at and yet you keep coming up with excuses why not to
right.
write it, or it's about knowing that you should go see a friend. You just feel it strong, 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 and the next thing you know they're
Oh yeah.
dead. It's
Well, that
like
happened with my folks. That with my
mm,
dad. For some
yeah.
reason, one day it was the Sunday before Memorial Day, and I had the day off the next day, and it was Sunday, and I thought, oh, Sunday, I should go over and see my folks,
Mhm.
you know, in the afternoon. So we hung out, we had dinner, and we had a nice time, and then their answering machine failed to answer, because it rang during dinner time, and I think I told you about this with the phones once, but I'll have to wait for another time because it does go on. But I will say that when he died that night, during the night, after I went home, uh, yeah, we all felt it. We were all up. I found out that we were all up at around the same time, unusually for everybody at the same time to be up at like 5 a.m. You know,
Wow.
even spouses and spouses of my siblings were all up. We all woke up around that time. I was in the shower at 5 when the town that they lived in, the police department, called me to tell me I should come over.
Oh,
because
my
my father was
gosh.
rushed to the hospital. Yeah. But he was already
Mm.
gone. Yeah. But yeah, you do feel it. And that was the strongest one because that was the first time we had lost anybody in our immediate family. We were
Oh,
always,
gosh.
we were, so you're going to feel that. It was electrical, really. So that is something to think about. And,
And
anytime I have doubts, I think about those times. And I
oh,
think, that just proves it to me personally. But of course, unless you feel it yourself, I suppose it is difficult to believe, but it does happen. And it is what we feel. And it's just out of the blue. It isn't like we were thinking about it and there it is. It just hits us. It's unexpected. His
you
death
know,
was unexpected.
I am going through that right now because I had a deep, deep um, intention of seeing a dear friend in town before I left on my trip. And I kept thinking and thinking, you need to go see her. And when as I was coming back on the last leg of my journey, someone called to tell me she was dead. And it was like, darn it, why is it that
Yeah.
we postpone those things when we feel that we need to reach out to a friend or we need to get hold of a parent or whatever? We need to do that because I'm telling you, whoever's listening, that is a strong strong chance that that person is either going through something where they deeply need you or
Yeah.
there's limited time that you're going to spend with them.
Yes. Isn't
And
that something, how that works?
it does. And
And yet, see, that is something that so many people feel, but they dismiss it as like they just go, "Oh, my intuition told me." Well, yeah. Well, what do you think this is? That's what it is.
yeah,
This, I mean, we all have this, but some have more. And because especially if you use it, you focus on it, or if you've always been using it, and if if you have a long line of people that have used it a lot, it's like having a talent, like being an artist, you all can, everybody can do it, depending on everybody, just like everybody has varying senses of touch and hearing and sight, and they all have varying abilities, but they do have it. And I guess, yeah, I guess some are like blind, but, yeah, but that's what that is. You have that
we
gut feeling. No, not that time. Or if you have a gut feeling, I'm going to take a different road for some reason. I'm going to take a different way home. I'm going to take another route, I think.
right,
But because
right.
we're comfortable this way. Because sometimes things seem to be set to happen in certain places. It doesn't matter who's there, but certain things seem to be set to happen in certain places. So you want to stay away from those areas. I don't know what causes that, but it seems
Oh, I
like
know.
if you have
I
a
tell you
feeling that
what.
this is a place where you shouldn't be, then don't be
Yes.
there.
I know my family, my sister and my mom are really trusting people. And I have gone through sections where, in cities with them, where there's an abandoned alley or something. And I'm not a fearful person, but if there's been an attack there or
Oh.
repeated attacks there, you can feel the fear. Samantha wants to know
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube if we do readings about pregnancy or future pregnancy. I want to tell Samantha, we do. I have read on those things, but I want to tell you we are not doctors and it is illegal for us to give medical advice, Samantha. But I will tell you that what is your question about it? Could you type it? Um, Samantha, if I look at a future pregnancy for you, I'm going to, because we're out of time, I will tell you that what I see, be careful, girl. My sense is that I see that there may be a pregnancy for you. I also feel that you need to be very cautious the first 3 months because there are health risks. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I see.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
if it's a should, I would say
You're
not this
listening
time.
to
Not that person.
AchieveRadio.com. The The future is now.